All right, welcome to GG League. Tonight you are not watching Camp Top versus insert team name here, despite what the graphic in front of you says. We have Morningside Esports versus University Laboratory High School JV tonight playing. Camp Top unfortunately did not make their game against insert team name here, so that's going to be a FF for them. And a different game brought to you instead. I am here co-coasting with Vitautus as well. And just a reminder, we would like to remind you all to follow us on all of our social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitch at GG League to receive all of the latest news about events, giveaways, and more. And I'll be jumping into game in just a moment.
Alright. Also, for those of you who don't know, GG Leagues has recently partnered with Enhanced Gaming. And to commemorate our partnership with Enhanced Gaming, we are giving away count it, one Enhanced Gaming keyboard. To enter, all you have to do is like a post on the Instagram page at GG Leagues, follow us on Instagram, and tag a friend. Winner's going to be announced live on Twitch, July the 11th.
Awesome. Definitely good to have the best keyboard you can, too. So, we're already seeing good bands coming out of here. I love to see Azir played and banned. He's one of the only reasons I miss playing mid.
Yep, and it's kind of tough to find the clear AD carry main for the side of Morning Esports here on Volag. 73% win rate over 22 games on that Jinx. Definitely not something that you want to play against, and ULab High School does not want that in their game. And also trying to avoid the Morgana, which Morgana is a strong pick that's been popping up with a lot of consistency, especially in GG Leagues. It's very consistent, it has a good laning phase, very good at catching out people into the mid game, protects people with the black shield, it's a workhorse support, and it also has the added effect of being a really good lane matchup into Nautilus right now.
Now the issue is that they banned the Morgana, but they let Lux through, who with the Aftershock is a Morgana on steroids with much more damage, giving up just a little bit of that CC, but much better shielding. So... interesting picks to let that go through instead, especially because, as you mentioned, the Nautilus instantly picked up here for the side of Morningside.
Yeah, banning Morgana when you're red side in this meta doesn't seem to be the best idea, and oh, is that the Yuumi hover I see? It's going to be the Yuumi locked in, and depending on what AD carry is picked up here, this matchup scares the heck out of me, because Nautilus basically hard dumps on Yuumi in lane. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be the Ezreal. I expect to see a Sivir coming out of Morningside. Sivir has been a fantastic pick into the Yuumi, her spell shield being able to block that Q with relative ease because of how... Yep, there it is, the Sivir. Absolutely what I would expect to see is paired with that Nautilus and into that Yuumi.
It's actually destructive, and Sivir got a couple of nerfs on this patch, I believe. I think, yeah, the new patch is live. We are on 9.13 right now, and she got a 15 mana increase to her Ricochet, and also got her mana regen decreased by like 0.11, something like that, and also got her attack speed growth decreased slightly, which is to say all of those nerfs do almost nothing. Sivir is still completely busted.
Absolutely, and if I'm not mistaken, there were buffs given to Essence Reaver either in 9.12 or 9.13 as well, which has kept her incredibly viable. So let's nerf the actual champion, but keep the items that make her broken strong too.
Yeah, it's pretty great. So what kind of facilitated that is crit carries coming back into the meta with the partial revert of the other crit rework, and that kind of helped Sivir along with a really gracious like 40 damage overall increase to her Boomerang Blade damage that came like 6 patches ago. And now that they brought Essence Reaver back to AD carries, that's one thing, and it got buffed by 10 damage over the course of 2 patches, and it's just a really freaking good item right now.
It is a very good item right now. We do see another ban coming through, the Tom Kench being taken away. That's a top lane target, unless they think for whatever reason this Nautilus is going top. Not something I would expect to see, given how much this Nautilus can shut down Ezreal and Yuumi here.
Yeah, so looking at the first portion of the draft already, I really like the way Morningside Esports is sitting through this. They actually did a very smart job of picking that Nautilus up first. ULab High School kind of shot themselves in the foot, honestly, with that Morgana ban, because that's the main answer you're going to have into the Nautilus lane. And in addition to that, picking the Nautilus first allowed them to take it away from below average MLG, and he has played a whole lot of games on Nautilus, and Soki has a 74% win rate on that champion right now, so that's definitely a huge draft win for
Absolutely.
Morningside.
What do you think about this jungle matchup, the Hecarim and the Sejuani? Sejuani,
So,
without a doubt, very strong engaged tank, same with Hecarim, but they go about it in very different ways.
yeah, so, Hecarim has a little more staying and carry potential throughout most fights just due to how the Conqueror works. You throw you throw up your W and your Conqueror at the same time, and you just heal everything.
Vitatus, are you sure we're on 9.13? This is looking very much like a 9.11 draft here.
Yeah, I don't know. Are we on 913? I mean, the best answer is not much changed about 913. It's
except for Urgot's back in the meta.
Yep, it's one of those patches that really kind of reined in some of the outliers, and by that I mean did nothing to fix Sivir. But you know how it goes.
I'm pretty sure this is the MSI patch. We have Akali, we have Sion, we have Urgot. I mean, this is 911. We're back to 911.
Yep, and really interested to see where this Ezreal is thrown here. I would like to see the teleport coming out of Ezreal here in this lane. Get the Yuumi heal, and either Ignite or Exhaust, and definitely the teleport. And the reason I say that is because usually opting into the teleport over an extra combat spell gives you way more utility in lane. And the reason why it's so essential is because Ezreal's wave clear is terrible, and especially because they're going to have to play so far back in this lane, this Ezreal's just going to run out of mana and get stuck consistently CSing under tower. So anytime the Ezreal gets sent back, he loses a wave for free. And he's going to do the teleport to keep this lane advantage.
Absolutely. Now, that being said as well, in my experience, teleport at lower levels is not usually the most beneficial summoner. You do want those ones to keep you alive in particular. Though I do agree there's going to be a lot of tower plates given over to Sivir here in this lane.
Yeah, and I'm looking at more at some of the matchups, and UAP High School, I'm kind of frightful about this draft, actually. The one thing I will say is they have a lot of individual outplay potential in the Akali and the Ezreal, and Ventrilo is easily, like, on paper, their team's best player at the moment, chilling in Platinum 1, and he's on a solo carry champion. He's on Akali.
Alright, before we head off to a break here, we are going to mention real quick, Ezreal did swap over to that TP, and Yumi's with the heal Ignite. We are going to go to a break. We will be back with you in just about 2.5 minutes once we get into game here. We'll see you then. Welcome back, and we are in game as you can see here. Loading onto the rift. Yes, we are.
Did you unpause?
I just unpaused because I'm dumb and forgot to do that properly.
Oh, nice. Can we pause at 15?
Yeah, we can pause at 15. So we'll be pausing at 15 here, unfortunately, because
Beautiful.
I made a mistake here. 15, paused.
Unlucky. Give me countdown.
Yeah, once my computer decides on what it's doing. I think I'm paused? Alright, we're gonna go 3, 2, 1. And yes, we are back in game now. Terribly sorry for that, everyone.
Beautiful.
We are in the game, we are all synced up, so everybody should be hopefully seeing the same thing here. And it looks like we're gonna have a 5-stack coming in from Morningside here on the spot lane. This is something I've seen them do last week, if I'm remembering right.
And given their comp right now, it only makes sense. UAB really has no options level 1 against their composition, and with the Nautilus hook, if they're not paying attention, someone's going to be forced to bring the flash.
And that's not even going to be the flash, that's just going to be straight up first blood given right over.
Yeah, and if there's anyone you don't want that first blood on, it's Nautilus, but like, hey, that's perfect. They just walked in, and they didn't even have to invade them. They just walked into the river, and they found first blood free.
Yeah. Give me one moment. Unfortunately, I've had to step out. There's a momentary issue on my end, so I will fix that, and we will get back into the normal swing of things. There we go. My apologies for that. There we go. Now we're going to go to that normal, regular start that we would normally see. Just plus 1 kill onto Nautilus here.
Beautiful, and unfortunately he wasn't able to complete a back in time. So it's not going to have much of an effect on that laning phase either, and I don't really want gold on Nautilus either going forward into the game, so realistically that first blood's probably not going to affect that much because Ezreal didn't even burn Sums.
No, he didn't.
Yeah.
Although I'm not entirely sure that was much an indication of the fact that he didn't, you know, have the ability to, and more so the fact that he just didn't realize what was happening until he was already dead.
Exactly. You know, kind of rough sometimes, and in fact in those situations, oftentimes you don't want to burn Sums, because then pretty much a couple members of their team will flash after you, and you're just going to die anyway, so there's no point.
Yeah, absolutely. It happens very frequently. Now, that being said, you do like to see the flash burnt from your opponent as well during that, in that trade.
And then Sivir Nautilus in the bot lane with the level 2 advantage coming in as expected. We want to see Sivir and Nautilus bullying out this lane in as many ways as possible going forward here, because Yuumi doesn't have that great of a matchup in the Nautilus, and even though Ezreal can actually, you know, arcane shift the hook pretty easily, it should come as no surprise that Sivir's wave clear basically makes this lane hell for Ezreal.
Oh, absolutely, and that's going to be a good route actually caught on with by Shayak onto Vernagalo in the mid lane there.
Yeah, that's a good combo. Unfortunately, he's already eaten through most of his mana pool at this point, so he's going to have a little bit of trouble sustaining through this lane, and Akali with the fleet footwork actually able to get a really good trade down there in the aftermath as well.
That's a really good catch onto the jungler there from Tim Jim. That's going to be the stun cut out as well, but he's not going to hit with the eye there from Shayak. A little bit of miscommunication there. Should have known that the stun was coming through.
So, you know, kind of rough to walk into the jungle when you're Hecarim and you're that low health. And Sejuani actually only cleared 3 cans before coming in the river for that scuttle, so nice and healthy.
Oh, that's going to be a decent amount of damage being put there onto Sion. Slow, I believe, does hit onto Jonan. Knockup's going to not come through. And that's going to be the end of that engage top side.
Yeah, I mean, Urgot also has a really good matchup in the Sion, especially in the early levels of that laning phase, because Urgot actually...
That's going to be in the jungle here. Tim Doom forced to flash away. That's been Triggerlo being caught out by the W there from Swain. Not much more coming from it, unfortunately.
So, you know, also kind of tough to walk into their jungle without vision, and he's also hasn't even cleared any of his blue side yet, so he basically just walked in and took some Raptors from MECB, and probably could have gotten that last Raptor too until that collapse happened, but I'm interested in how this pathing's going to work out for him.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's going to be interesting one way or the other to see how this goes, so... Oh, that's another catch onto the Akali. Immediate shroud there to prevent more of the follow-up damage.
Yeah, and so if I'm a Collegiate right here, the Swain's pretty low on mana. Oh, hold on.
That's going to be a good catch onto the Zonan, but he's still chunking a bunch of damage there onto Knight. Keeps walking away. He should be able to get his dash up again soon. That's going to be the knock-up. No, that's going to be him going down. Decent gank there. Lack of vision there, though, is what really set Zonan up for failure in that one.
Yeah, so good visit topside by the Hecarim, and you know, that's pretty much the textbook. Hey, I've cleared a couple camps, let's walk into the closest lane and gank it. Luckily for him, Urgot's kind of pushed up there without vision, and that's a free kill.
Yeah. And he also did get the flash as well during that engagement, so very successful gank. Summoner and the kill. Almost always your biggest dream when you get a good gank.
Yeah, and really, MECB should be hard focusing the solo lanes in this situation because they're the only ones with kill pressure and matchups that they can actually play into. And now that Thinker Knight has the advantage in this top lane matchup, has the experience advantage, a slight CS lead as well, that's going to be a lane that MECB can actually play around in terms of pressuring the map.
Yeah. We're going to continue to see Shayak and Ventrilogo here posturing in the mid lane. Not going to be a whole lot of anything happening, though. Just the zoning and threat of, but what if I did?
Yeah, and Shayak actually completed a back earlier, and Ventrilogo, due to the pressure that Akali is putting out, able to get the teleport from Shayak, which is pretty big. And now microing efficiently with this, you know, with the wave in the background, and at some point that huge wave is going to crash into that tower, and should be at least a plating.
Should be. That being said, Shayak does have decent wave clear on that Swain. Potentially able to stop it from being a full tower, full plate. At least with this wave. Be interesting to definitely see how big of a wave we can see Ventrigolo build up for that. Oh, that's him getting into the tower there on Thinker Knight. That's going to be a decent way of helping him out with that trade. Looks about half of Knight's health bar there lost in that trade. Which doesn't feel very right calling it as such, considering it was just Knight walking away.
I mean, you know how it goes. And if there's one thing I've learned, is that Sion, he just doesn't do that much damage unless you kind of walk into his abilities.
No, he doesn't. But that's not why you pick Sion. You pick him because he just runs down a lane and you go, oh, oops. Oh, that's going to be another big humps of damage coming in from Zonan. Good body blocking as well. And that's going to be the ultimate to get away.
And great interaction to watch out for there is the unstoppable onslaught from Sion actually makes it so Zonan can't pull him in with the Fear Beyond Death and kill him, even though he's actually below the required health threshold. And Zonan knows that, so he didn't actually use the Fear Beyond Death in that situation, so good on him.
He did use it right here, though, as soon as he walked back into lane.
Exactly, and that's why you hold that until the Sion ult's gone.
Now, that being said, I would have liked to see Zonan trying to keep the body block going and stay in front of him to get the unstoppable to proc on him right there. Because that ultimate...
Yeah, that would have been very interesting.
Yeah. Oh, junglers are going to find each other here. That's going to be the dash coming in from Trim Doom. And we have the Swain in the bot side here as well. Yumi's jumped onto Hecarim to get away from there, leaving Ezreal all alone under that tower, although the 4-man from Morningside is disengaged here, it looks like. We're not going to see them continuing to move in. Just posturing around here. Tim Doom looks like he's going to be able to come here and try to help them get some more turret plates off of this. But no, decides he's going to go into his own jungle.
What's the world I live in where it's almost 9 minutes and both junglers still aren't 6 yet?
This one?
Yeah, I guess.
So Emmy's going to try to steal Raptors away from Tim Doom. That's going to result in a bunch of damage going over to Emmy from the Sion and the Sejuani.
I feel like these Raptor camps have been very interesting points of contention for these two junglers. Is pretty much every time the other junglers had an encounter with these things, they just randomly walk into the other jungle, find some Raptors, try and take them, and they're forced to blow a summoner spell to get out.
Yeah, I think your point about them not being 6 yet is entirely based on the fact that they're not trying to get ahead, they're trying to put the other jungler behind.
That sounds accurate.
And just that play style is very different. I know I have done it myself and have been sat there wondering why I'm only a level 6 jungler and my, laners are all level 10. But if you can stay ahead and put the other jungler behind, it works out well. So I understand the want to do so.
Yeah, it does. And although if you're gonna mess with the other jungler's jungle, it's very key to really know how to path efficiently, because half of the time when you try and counter jungle and just run into their jungle, you're giving up camp and farming efficiency unless you really know how to do it properly. And so while the other jungler may be slightly more behind than you are, you're also pretty behind, and thus you can't actually affect the map other than taking the other jungler out of the game.
Yeah, Ventriloquio's going in here on Shayak here. Shayak is almost pretty much out of mana here, as you've been mentioning. We're going to see just a roam in from Sejuani, going to keep him safe there.
Yeah, and once again, Shayak actually having a mana pool is not a fun time into this Akali, and able to sustain through the lane with the fleet footwork. And once the Swain combo is down, that Swain's pretty much basically trade bait at that point.
Absolutely, especially given the nature of energy champions such as Akali.
Yeah, and so it also requires a fair bit of patience from Shayak, and probably more zoning and posturing in the early levels rather than actually using abilities, because as soon as that mana pool was mostly eaten through, Ventriloquio had no problem just running it down on him in the laning phase, and that forced a teleport, and it's probably going to force
that's going to be a flash from Volog based on the ultimate there from the Yuumi. It's going to be a root gun onto Ventriloquio, and then the Dredge line to get the Nautilus out of there. Rather successful escape there, a flash burnt off of Volog, but not much else. Oh, and the Ignite was used by Yuumi in that exchange, so not even taking that deficit in the Summoner spell advantage there.
So definitely a bit of split focus there, because Yuumi was actually able to get the snare on the Nautilus, and then Pepsi of Time deciding they want the Ezreal instead. Oh, hold up.
Ami's going in here, that's going to be them going on to Zonia, but the TP's coming in here, that should be them backing off. Does not manage to get Knight, but that's going to be the Eye catching him, and then pull back in. That's going to be the swatch over from Zonan, and then pull back into the grinder there.
What a great teleport.
Yeah, absolutely. And Sejuani there in that mid lane gets a tower plate for herself as well. So not even losing anything, taking in both lanes, even the one teleported out of. Can't feel too bad about something like that now, can ya?
Really can't, and that's actually key for getting Zonan back in this game. Not back in this game, actually. That's actually
getting him ahead in this game.
Yeah.
Oh, that Sejuani managing to hit onto Ventriloquio. That's going to be 3 of the 4 stacks required to get the stun off. Ventriloquio goes out, not going to be able to caught with that stun, though. Dashes away from Tim Doom.
Yeah, so perhaps a bit more of an opportunity for a follow-up there, especially at the Glacial Prison, but when you have no Demonic Ascension up, that's the best you can hope for, and it's a good visit in the mid lane.
It is absolutely a great visit in the mid lane. No ultimate on the Akali either, that was used in the bot lane as well, so we will not see a lot from there. Ami's back up in the top lane on the Zonan. That's going to be the dash and the pull, and that's going to be a bunch of damage. Look at Ellie's health bar just dropping there. Walks away to not get slowed by the Scion. That's going to be a pretty good trade. Good gank avoidance.
Not gonna lie, not sure if that's the most efficient usage of a jungler's time right there, especially because pretty much the rest of Emmy's right side jungle is already up, and trying to gank level 10 Urgas or level 7 Akram, there's better things you can be doing.
Absolutely, although definitely that problem of the way that the jungle players have to work, especially in solo queue, is Knight's probably up there going, hey, I need help, I'm losing this lane really hard, I need you to come up here and help me. It's difficult to say no sometimes, without being able to be like, okay, I'll come gank, I died, I'm not ganking you again because you don't want me to now.
Let's see, in that situation, it's just like, can't gank lanes without pressure, just wave clear.
Yeah.
And then usually what happens is they'll just spam ping me, and then after that, I just triple mute. We're good to go. If they AFK, whatever, we'll get a better team next game.
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, there's no such thing here for the GG League for them to be looking for a better team next game. They kind of need to win this game here. But
dude,
Pepsi
I live for the time
here...
when we just play solo queue.
Pepsi and Emmy looking here on the red side jungle. But now they're preparing around Dragon. It's not going to be the call to go for Dragon. I think they might have spotted Tim Doom there. He's going to back off as well. Zonan's going to use a pink, get another ward for himself. And just a little bit more security for himself, knowing that he's not going to necessarily get ganked by Hecarim anytime soon.
So if there's one common thing I see from teams at this level, it's that they usually play relatively safe, and I say that to mean that there definitely are opportunities where they just don't realize, like, necessarily, like, what's actually going to happen to them. Like, wow, that did that much damage or some stuff like that. But in terms of the concept of playing safe, they play much more to that concept, and you'll see a lot of, you know, perhaps higher level teams play towards.
Absolutely. It's part of the reason why soloing a specific character is such a common advice for getting out of low tiers, is because you will know exactly what you can do with that character at any given point in time. So you will be ready to play more aggressively than your lane opponent typically will be.
Yep, and that's typically the nature of it when your mechanics, your individual decision making are better.
Oh, Tim Doom is going to come in here in the mid lane. That was a good trade from Shyok. That's going to be the ultimate being used on MEC. That's going to be him taken down there, pulled back in by Shyok. The ultimate popped by Shyok there at the end of that fight. I'm not sure if he was hoping to be able to go in and get more done. They are going to be trying to get more done here. That's going to be them getting the tower plate here. And then them walking out, it looks like. Shayok's going to just keep putting pressure onto this lane here, keeping Akali here at risk of not even more plates, just losing the tower entirely.
So, unfortunately, this game's not looking very fun for MECB at this point or any point coming forward, just because both of her solo lanes are really the only matchups that they can play around, and at the moment they're both not doing so hot, especially in that situation though. MECB kind of down on levels, down on XP, making the gank into the mid, not gonna do very much damage. You know, a level 10, level 11 Swain, and he just drain tanks through the entire fight, and then Tim Doom's there on the counter gank to secure the kill.
Yeah. Absolutely. And yeah, as you said, difficulties of jungling right now. No lanes to gank viably. No lanes where a gank is going to be successful outside of a flash, probably. And that's going to be bot tower taken down here for Morningside from Volwood.
Yeah, and so in this situation, it's why it's important to really path efficiently, is because in this case, the Hecarim could perhaps be
up here
up
top side. Is that going to be a potential dive? No, 2 procs under the Thinker Knight, but MECB is here as well. So I think that's going to be the call off and dive there.
Yeah, and so, you know, that's why pathing so efficiently is key, because at this point, Hecarim could probably be sitting at level 10, maybe level 11 now, and could have a chance at actually evening up some of these matchups in the side lanes, especially because if Tim Doom had pathed the way that he had earlier, then he would be down on levels to this Hecarim, and then because of that level differential, you can start making an impact across the lanes and pulling your team back into the game. Of course, it is very hard to play, though, because there isn't really a single matchup for ULab in lanes that's good for them this game.
Yeah, no, the only one that we said looked relatively favorable was potentially the Akali into the Swain matchup, and we've seen how that's been going. Unfortunately, rather even with Shyok getting some really good trades at the cost of his mana pool.
Yeah, exactly, and I would say that matchup is even just because Shayok can pretty, you know, well maintain control of that, but if you slip up at all or don't necessarily completely know how to play into that champion, then you're going to lose tons of mana, you're going to get all in, and then you're going to start feeding. But luckily that hasn't been the case so far, and, you know, the Swain's chilling there full health and he can drain tank through, you know, an engagement, a 1v2 basically. Then how the hell is an Hecarim and Akali supposed to kill a full health Swain?
Yeah.
Just can't happen.
No, absolutely. The benefits of those pseudo tanks, I like to dub them, where you look at them and they have nothing tanky, but they just don't die.
Yeah, so interestingly, I believe the official category designation by Riot is Battle Mage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not the term I would use. I definitely know there's a couple others. Olaf is another one that I put into that category again, especially because you build him as a sustain tank kind of person. Bork, Bloodthirster, all that. Looks like they might actually go thinking of the dive here on Thinker Knight here between the Nautilus and the Sivir. We saw the Dredge line go out and miss from Seabaz here, unfortunately. Emmy is on the other side of the map, but Ventrilogo has gone up there to potentially support. Be interesting to see how that encounter goes out. Ventrilogo definitely has the potential to take out Volug. Definitely in a position where she's strong enough to do that. It's whether or not she can get the damage in to do so.
And I actually really dig the rotation here from Morningside, especially once they get...
Oh, Shayok's going to be able to catch out onto the Ventrilogo. That's going to be the red line catching it. Ventrilogo brought very, very low. Not quite enough damage. One ricochet, not going to be enough. Oh, but you're going to have to use the ultimate there because Tim Doom was on his way over. You jump back over to Tim Doom. That's going to be the ultimate used from Hecarim. That's going to be the ult miss from Tim Doom, but going to be doing a decent amount of damage to both of them. Not going to be enough to get them. Ezreal is TP'd into the top side here. Going to have to flash and Arcane Shift out. Pulled back in because of the stun with Shayok. Knight is going to be able to knock them up. Keep Papsy of Time alive. Definitely an odd choice of TPing into that fight there. Going to pop up Volug walking back into that there. Lots of damage going in. That's going to be Nautilus catching Sion. Sion's taking a bunch of damage. Not quite dead yet. That's going to be a heal on Papsy of Time, keeping him alive. Fight looks like they're going to be disengaging from Morningside finally.
Yeah, so first thing about that fight is UF High School kind of just needs to take a bit of a chill pill after that. You know, they already... You knew the tower was going down, so then Ventrilogo kind of got caught up, and it was good on him to get out of that one. But then after that, more members of UAB just kind of run in and almost die. Now, luckily for Emmy, the only reason that they didn't go down there is Sejuani missed the Glacial Prison. That would have been a kill. And Thinker Knight, one beefy boy on the Scion, doing a really good job of protecting Pepsi of Time. And even though Shayok did get the never move onto Pepsi of Time on the back line, it's just barely missed out on the kill. So going forward into this game,
that's going to be the walking right into Nautilus. Nautilus does not manage to get the auto attack off before Pepsi of Time Arcane shifts yet. Unfortunate for them, that would have been a really nice pickup for them.
But playing with such a lack of respect for Morningside's engage options there is going to be something that could potentially lead to UAB just hard losing those games as we go further in, especially once Morningside start to scale more, the Swain, the Sivir, they get more damage, and then you'll have the Urgot Figure Beyond Death there to finish them off.
Yeah, that's going to be Dragon taken with a little bit of help from Ezreal at an attempt to steal. Not much else. Shayok's coming here in the mid lane. That's going to be him marked here by Ventrilogo, and he's going to be caught very much out of position and just instantly killed.
That's the power of Sivir. That's the power of Sivir there, popping the on the hunt, and they're just out of vision. They just finished the Dragon, and UAB High School not saying, hey, they finished Dragon. They're probably in mid-river somewhere. Yeah. They can engage in mid, and Sivir presses the go button. They find the CC combo, and once again, dead Hecarim.
Yeah, absolutely. As we mentioned, we were saying in Champion Select a couple of differences to Sivir, but with buffs to items and not many things key resulted in Sivir's demise. She's still a very strong pick.
So, right now at this point in the game, ULAB is kind of scary.
Ventrilogo is caught out of position here. It's going to be them catching Tim Doom, actually. Going to get a root onto him. Ventrilogo is going to be able to get another 5-point strike off, but doesn't manage to get anything because of his stun. Ultimates to get close, he's going to be able to finish that off. On the other side, though, Thinker Knight's being taken very, very low. Flashes to get out. Emmy's going to go in, manages to get the stun onto Volug and the Fear. Is going to be continuing to chase down that Nautilus. Swain is just sitting in the middle of that with the Nevermore, doing a bunch of damage and keeping himself very healthy. But he's going to have to flash over the wall here. He's going to be to get Emmy. That's going to be him taking him down, actually, as well, with Zonin joining as well. That's going to make it very difficult for University to continue in on this fight, and they're going to back off the 4 members still alive that they have.
So I was about to say the one thing... Oh, no. Here we go again.
The grinder being pulled in, and then the flash to get the Fear as well. That's going to be Ventrilogo going down. Yumi dumps off to save Ventrilogo for a moment, actually. And that's going to be Thinker Knight using the passive, trying to keep them slowed. Ventrilogo looks like they're going to be trying to go and get that execute. Oh, no, instead it's going to try to get the lethal fleet work to get to over that wall here. The healing as well. This is a mad chase, but that's going to be the end of it with the dredge line there.
Rough one. You hate to see it. But unfortunately, I was saying that ULAB High School was scaring me because on paper they have no other... Even before that engagement, they had no other options of getting back into this game other than individual outplays. And if your options are reduced to individual outplays, at that point, the game's basically sunk because if the other team plays cleanly, like, you should lose the game. But luckily for ULAB, you know, Morningside disrespected the opportunities for individual outplay that come from champions like Akali, and ran into that corridor, thought they had a pick. Turns out they didn't, and then UAB turns it on them. Great.
Baron picked up for Morningside Esports here. Gonna see a decent amount of poke coming in. Not like it's gonna matter much with those enhanced recalls, so we're just gonna be going back to
I was
basics.
holding my breath there, waiting for a Baron steal or something. UAB not gonna pull the trigger, but back to my previous point, that jungle engagement for UAB, great. But then after that, they proceed to do the same thing Morningside does and overcommit. They run him down, and then Emmy dies for it, and then after that, they're just kind of chilling in their jungle, and Morningside's finally, you know, got their act together, they're grouped, they have an opportunity to find a decent engage, and well-executed Fear Beyond Death and the flash combo from Zone in there. Basically all she wrote for him.
Yeah. Decent dodge on the eye there by Pepsi, but we're gonna just keep seeing Shayok and Volog pushing down this mid lane. I do like seeing Zonan going to the top side to react to Emmy here.
So we're to the point in time, especially in gold differential and pressure differential, where the only way back into the game if you're ULab is stall. And it's always difficult if at any point in time you're stuck staying that stall is the way back in your game. And the reason why I said ULab is going to have such an issue getting back into this game is because they're wave clear. They really don't have much. So I can say stall all I want, but UAB should have a tough time of that.
But even to stall and get them the win, they have a Sivir on their, they have an Urgot to go against. They have a Sejuani who's just going to keep getting tankier. That's decent rich coming in from the Yuumi though. That's going to be some more stalling, no kills going down. That's going to be below average, but fourth. Miss onto the Glacial Prison there from the Sejuani once again, but there's still that pesky cannon minion and another wave coming in here. That's going to be going on a rampage there. Double kill actually coming in. And now Shayok's decided he's had enough. He's going to just ignore the tower. He's going to move in. That's going to be Knight going down here. Not going to be able to get a whole lot off with his passive, unfortunately. Nobody's super low. So, yeah, he's just going to go down. That's the inhibitor and the inhibitor tower down as well. Back to your previous point, even if they do stall, do they actually have a better late game?
Yeah, it's looking pretty rough for ULab at this point. And Ventrogo, the last man standing.
Yeah, he's going to be shut down as well here, or he manages to get a shutdown as he gets killed, but the Nexus tower is going to fall, and immediately following that, the Nexus itself is going to be going down too. We'll see Emmy pull off a really good ultimate, manages to get Seabaz, and then dies, and does the Nexus.
Yep. So, you know, rough one for UAB, but very good play by Morningside, I'd say. I like that, and they only really had one, you know, we could call it slip up, where they just kind of tried to hard run onto the Kali, didn't get a clean engage and lockdown onto her, and then UAB kind of turned it, but overall, very good job by Morningside. And if I'm UAB, I'm looking back at that game and perhaps an exercise in, I'd say an exercise in respect. If you're UAB, and also if you're looking towards the draft, you're gonna need a lane matchup that you can carry through, and some wave clear.
Yeah.
And that's really the main points I'd focus on.
Well, thanks everyone for tuning into Tonight Games. As always, don't forget you can find us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and at GG League on Twitch, where you are right now, to receive all of our latest news. And once again, to commemorate our partnership with Enhanced Gaming, we're giving away one Enhanced Gaming keyboard. To enter, all you have to do is like an Instagram page for GG League, and follow us on Instagram, and tag a friend. The winner will be announced live on Twitch July 11th. Make sure you tune in then to see if you are the lucky winner getting that keyboard. Until next time, we will see you tomorrow.